This new Forge Pass has really impressed me. There are so many questions I need to answer for you about it. We're going to showcase it and compare in a lot of different things to break it down for you. So excited about this one. What's up, guys? MtgJedi here. How you doing today? You might notice that we're on the free-to-play account, but that's just so I can show you some information about the Forge Pass here, okay? And I have to tell you, even as a free-to-play player, completing these daily objectives, which I'm doing pretty good at, is going to be really helpful and get you rewards. You cannot skip almost any days if you want to complete this as a free-to-play player, which is definitely worth it to be able to get this last reward and forge some 5 or 6 star gear. That's pretty important. Also, all of the other things along the way are going to be helpful as well. The glyphs, the accessories, all of these other things are going to be helpful for you. So working on this as free to play is definitely great. I personally think that this is the best value in the game, and if I was a low spend player, I would be purchasing that even before the daily gem pack. That would be my first purchase. The daily gem pack would be my second purchase. You may fight me in the comments below. Now, what are the questions that need answered about this? Number one, if you complete this or purchase it, it is very unlikely that you will get a full 9-piece set. I just need to be honest with you about that. So if you're watching this saying, oh, I'm probably going to get that, so I'll have a 9-piece set, blah, 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 you probably won't. And I don't want to be a downer, but you're going to have to get this Forge Pass set multiple times. Plarium's going to need to put a way for us to get these accessories in the game. It's a need, Plarium, not a want. It's a need. You cannot have these accessories only in this Forge Pass. That is nonsense, okay? As far as I know, I'm like one of the only people in the world, at least online, who has a full 9-piece set. If you have a full 9-piece set, message me in Discord so we can set up a video for another faction other than Undead. Because Undead is very limiting, but I have some cool stuff to share with you, even utilizing some Undead champions that you might never have taken out of your vault today. So, the questions that need answered about this are as follows, okay? Number one, you should be purchasing this $20 Forge Pass and then coming over here and doing the daily and weekly challenges and unlocking these rewards. If you purchase this, okay, and then you can go back in and purchase the get more levels. And you can even go as far as purchasing the literal entire thing right off the get-go. Do I recommend that? Absolutely not. It is completely wasteful. Be patient and purchase the $20 version. It's like $100 or something if you purchase it outright. It's way more, okay? Because you're getting it right now. But just purchase the $20. Do the tasks. They're easy. Most of the tasks you do are just for, like, you know, doing normal stuff in the game. And then if you want to expedite it, then come over and do the weekly challenges, okay? Look, I mean, like, look, this is on my free-to-play account. I completed 3 of the weekly challenges by just playing the game, okay? And then these other 2 I could do if I wanted to, okay? So, please use your own money how you wish, but that is how it works, okay? Now, in order to see this in action, we'll flip over to my main account so we can actually use the set that I bought. Okay, now that we're back on my main account, we can start talking about what I have learned here. We're going to try to observe and learn some more things and get some real good comparison data today. So, number one, I have to mention this in the video. I did max out and test a Defiled Sinner. Was he good? Absolutely not. He was terrible, okay? You would think that with this kit here, and like an enemy max HP hit, and all of these things, that he would be good. No, he was awful. One of the worst champions I've ever maxed out, in my entire account. Do not use him. He was really bad. The second champion that I thought of that we could test this on is none other than Suzerain Khatoon. I don't know how you guys say this. Suzerain? Catan? Captain of Catan? I don't know. I've called him Dr. Seuss. I've called him many different things, but this dude is really, really decent. He is decent, okay? And what I like about him is he has 3 AoE attacks. Even this third one, it doesn't look like an attack, but it's an attack, okay? It's like attacks all enemies. And then over here, it's like where does it even say he's attacking, then attacks them? I don't know. It's just like, it's like hidden in there. You don't think that this is really an attack, but it is. I do have a blessing on him, so I went ahead and put Phantom Touch on here. But his A1 has a decreased speed, which is really nice. His A2 is an AoE weaken that also has a chance to place decreased defense. And then his third ability here, I don't know if this is really important at all, but, you know, it's there. It's helpful. It can be useful in other content, not in Hydra, though. Okay, so these are the masteries, and I've got to say I don't like them, but I think that they might be the best. Okay, so I went down the defense tree here, but because I went down the defense tree, I didn't get to take Sniper. And Sniper is really good on him, as is Master Hexer. So I'm torn about whether or not to keep these masteries or not. In order to just be consistent with everything I'm doing today, I'm going to keep this. However, I would recommend going down the support tree, I think, if you were going to use him. But let me know what you think. I always appreciate your feedback, okay? But that's the masteries that I have been using for this showcase, okay? Now, I have him in an 8-piece Rathalos set right now, because what I want to do is I want to test the difference between that 8 and 9-piece set, okay? In case you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, that 9th piece gives you a 30% chance to repeat damage done by AoE skills. So what I want to do is I really want to just compare, like, how much damage is he doing when it comes to this repeating skill, because this is like the best case scenario, right? He has an AoE on all 3 abilities, so every time he attacks, he has a 30% chance to repeat the skill. So I think that means he should be doing 30% more damage on average, approximately, okay? Now, the thing that I don't know, when he repeats the damage, does that give an extra chance to proc the decreased speed? Based on my observations alone, I think the answer is no, but I really need somebody to take a look at the code and tell me how it actually works, and not just my observational data. Like, I need facts, and right now I just have observations. So right now, I don't think you have an extra chance to proc this, which means that I still think the best way to use this set is on a damage dealer, because you'll be doing just extra damage, okay? I think on him, with all of the AoEs, it would be much better to use like a cursed set or a provoke set, okay? Those are probably the best two to be going on him, in my opinion. I wouldn't mind putting a Guardian set on him. That would help with, you know, keeping people alive. Yeah, I think that's gotta be the 2 best sets, would be Provoke or Cursed, because then he can help out with an additional ability. Or if you're doing other PvE content other than Hydra, a stun set on him would be amazing. That's what I had on him before, okay? With all of the AoE skills, all right? Now, with that being said, what we're doing today is we're testing how much damage he's going to do. And I've got to say, I really like him and the team that I've come up with to pair with him. So let's head over to the Hydra and see what team we're working with here. I'm going to go in hard Hydra here, and there's a couple different reasons for that, okay? I will be testing him in hard Hydra, and the main reason is because of the set that I have available. It does not have an accuracy banner or good accuracy stats. So what I've done, and you can do this to help yourself as well, is that I have put an accuracy aura in here, and I've put an increased accuracy buff. Both of those things are going to help Suzerain in the following tests. Right now, he has an accuracy banner on, and so those things are less important, okay? But what we want to do is compare him, okay? I love this team because this is the type of team that works really well on auto, and Suzerain pairs extremely well with Ugo. Ugo does the decreased defense and block buffs, and then Suzerain does the weaken and decrease speed, and he can also help out with decreased defense because he is the another affinity, okay? Sometimes with Ugo, you have a hard time because she's blue, then you have redheads, and that's rough, okay? There's only one redhead, but it's the cleanser, okay? Which is the one you want to kill the quickest. So anyway, Suzerain can help with that, and that's a really nice pairing, okay? Also, in case you don't know, Razelvarg is an absolute beast in Hydra. Like, people who have Razelvarg on their account should have them in their Hydra teams because he does a shocking amount of damage, which you're going to see today. I also wanted to feature Tatora here because I feel like he doesn't get enough screen time, okay? He has a block debuffs and increased defense, which helps you survive, and also a perfect veil and shield. He also puts decreased accuracy if you run him with accuracy. I do have a little bit of accuracy, and then that accuracy aura, and the increased accuracy will help me get there the rest of the way. Now, Tatora is the least important person in this team. That could be Inquisitor Shamail. It could be, who's the chick? Rector Drath. That could be a Duchess if you have her. It's just somebody who's going to help with those fears, right? He does a little bit of damage. Even this +2 is not enough to help him do more damage, though, guys. So don't be intimidated by the +2. It's just he's in a Hydra build, so that's the one I wanted to use. Molly, insane Hydra champion. Insane. But if you're going to build her with resistance. Also, I will go over all the builds at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a damage test with Suzerain to get a base level of what he can do in Hydra. Then we're going to compare that with the Rathalos 9-piece set, and I've done a fair bit of testing with that, so I have good information and knowledge to share with you, so stick with me on this, okay? Now, somebody in the last video, I did another previous video with Husk in this set. If you haven't seen that, I'll try to link that at the end of the video. They suggested that I don't put Hex in this team, but like, how else are you supposed to get good damage if you don't have Hex? So I don't even know. It would be easier to track the damage of everybody involved if there was less Hex damage. That part I get it. All right, so let's come in here and let's see Suzerain's damage. Okay, he's doing like 25,000, 26,000. Okay, that's not that much. But his main job in this team is just to put out the debuffs, which, dang, we got cleansed there at the beginning of the fight. That is not good. That's a little bit unlucky. That probably means Molly did a 1-turn provoke instead of a 2-turn provoke. If I were going for maximum damage, I would just restart the run. See, there we got the 2-turn provoke. I would just restart the run if we were going for maximum damage, which we will do later in the video. So stick around for that. This team is capable of some amazing things, guys. So you definitely want to see the final runs, okay? All right, so what we want to do is we want to get to, I don't know, at least like boss count 50, or maybe like 50 million would be a better target to get to. 50 million. But you can see here, he's not doing a ton of damage, but his damage is consistent. So that part is nice. And he's putting up some great debuffs in order to help us in this game mode. Now, whenever you have Hex, or in general, it's really good to target the decapitated head, because then you're doing the most damage possible there, and then you can see that it's spreading to the other heads. Razelvarg here, about to come do like hundreds of thousands. That was a really good hit. You could see 133,000 from Suzerain there, and that's comparable to one of Razelvarg's hits. So that's decent, okay? I would say it is definitely possible to build Suzerain with more damage than what I have here, but don't forget also, part of the Rathalos set is ignoring 30% of their defense. So he's gonna have more damage than what he would normally. In terms of Tatora over here, he's not putting up the buff that we need in order to not get feared. So that part is unfortunate. But we do have Ugo to help with the cleansing. We have Mithrala to help with the cleansing. So all of this works really well together, okay? So, I think that that's everything that you need to see right here. You've been able to see all three of Suzerain's hits. You've been able to see what his kit kind of does here with the decreased speed on the A1. I mean, I think that he's definitely an underrated champion and one that you should be considering for your teams if he's sitting in the vault. All right, so let me let this fight play out. Then I'll come back in. We'll see what damage he is capable of, right around that 50 million mark. And then we'll compare that with the damage, putting him in the full 9-piece set. I'll make sure that I show you the stats on him as well in between there, so we have a good damage comparison. Okay, so one of the downsides here with this team, and something you have to be very careful about, this is probably going to be a wipe here early. And when you see how much damage this team is capable of, you're going to be like, oh yeah, that was just a really bad run. But whenever he gets a turn here to cleanse, if he cleanses Wrath, and then Wrath gets all of his buffs up, you don't really have enough survivability in this team to handle that. So then Molly is left to try to revive all of these individually, and a lot of times that is the sequence of events that will end this run early. You could see Mithrala and then Razelvarg about to die here. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and restart this so that we don't get that sequence of events. But that's one of the things you want to be aware of. I mean, did we stabilize here? Anyway, I'll figure it out, and either way, I'll get us to the damage screen. But you can see, again, since Ugo's dead, no block buffs again. Now Wrath is going to kill us. Yeah, okay, cool. So I was correct. Yeah, that sequence led us to dying here, and I wanted to include that in the video because I think that that is a common sequence that leads to people's runs being done early. So while we're here, since I'm on this screen, let's look at the damage here. Mithrala did 3.7, okay? And keep in mind, she's getting hex damage. Razelvarg did 7 million, which I told you he was going to be the leader. But look, Suzerain doing more damage than our hex champion. So if you let this play out, basically what's going to happen is those same kind of percentages, maybe a little bit more exaggerated, are going to stick around throughout this fight. So anyway, let me regroup here. Let's get to a little bit higher damage count, and I'll come back to you in a second here, and then we'll get to our next team comparison. I guess one other thing I should note here is that I'm basically letting this run on full auto. This team is a very nice full auto team with, 10 to 20%. I don't want to say fail rate, but like a 10 to 20% lower damage possibility rate. You know, you might have to restart this team a couple times in order to get the damage to line up where you want it to be. But I feel like that's true of lots of full auto teams also. All right, we got a guest here for a little clip in the middle. Say hi, Noah. Say hi, Noah. Anyway, if you can pay attention to Hydra while my little baby boy is in the in the frame here. What we're going to do here is we are pausing at 57 million. And that seems like a good stopping point to take a look at the damage breakdown here. We have Suzerain at 10 million, Razovarg basically double that at 22, and he's keeping pace with Mithrala right behind my head, okay? So we have a really good damage basis here. So then what we want to do is we want to switch, free regroup, and take a look at the builds for him, SUZ, and we want to compare with this banner versus our actual banner. Okay, so here's our stats here. One thing that this build does have going for it is obviously the more accuracy, but we do have a way to compromise with that in our team. So what we want to do is we want to put our sweet Wrath banner in here, and then that's going to drop our accuracy, but it's going to give us those extra attacks. So we'll have less accuracy, but we still have all of the accuracy buffs, and then we can come in here and try this team again. So let me get that all set up, and then I'll come back at you. Okay, so some factors to consider here, okay? Number one, when we're taking a look here, it took us much less time to get to this 57 million mark than on the last run, okay? Suzerain did more damage, but only about, 1 to 2 million more damage than before. It was only a little bit more, okay? But we were able to get to this mark a lot quicker. Now let's see what the team is actually capable of. I'm going to rerun that, and then I'll come back in with another damage screen for you. Okay, everybody say bye, Noah. Okay, so we have the final damage screen here, and this is my maximum damage that I've gotten in my testing so far, which is pretty awesome. And you can see here, this lasted until after the turn limit indicator. It didn't make it all the way to 1500 turns, but it made it over 1000 turns, which is the mark of a good team in my opinion. And that was a pleasant surprise. This was well above my expectations here. We have Tatura at 18, Molly only at 4 million, so I'm wondering if she has masteries or something here. Is this like a build of Molly without masteries? I'm gonna have to check on that because I don't know. She is definitely capable of a lot more. Oh, I know why. There's no HP burn in this team. Normally, Molly can do a lot of damage, but she has a bonus buff for HP burn, so she's not going to be in an ideal state here. Mithrala doing 28 million, but you can see, even with all of the hex damage Mithrala's getting, Suzerain was able to overcome that and do almost 10 million more damage than her, which is outstanding in my opinion. And then Razovarg, who did double. He did like, 40% of the damage of the entire team, which should tell you something, right? He also provides leech, which is helping our team heal up. That's a very important note. So what I think is important here is that on a support champion like Suzerain, I still think it would be better to be using another set like Cursed or Provoke. That would just allow you to eliminate one of the types. Like that would let us take out Molly and rearrange the whole team a bit. And so if Suzerain was in probably Provoke, but also, maybe we could remove Mithrala if we put him in a curse set, and that would leave room for another damage dealer. So there's like a lot of flexibility that comes with the gear sets that you have available on your account. And this gear set just adds another layer to that, which is great. I still don't think that he is an ideal candidate for this gear set, but you can see it did make a huge difference. Let's go take a look at that gear again and wrap up the video. I had Molly on screen here, so I might as well show her build. The build that I used in today's video was the bolster build that I've been toying around with in Arena. It's pretty decent, to be honest with you. But she's got some like healthy stats. Most importantly, she has accuracy and resistance. And then the next one that we really want to talk about is our suzerain, because this is like the whole point of the video, right? So we have the 9-piece set here. And if we take a look at his attack stat, it's only like 5,000. And I have a lot of buffs to that, but like I don't have an attack ring. I don't have an accuracy banner, right? My crit damage amulet does have a crit damage ascension, but like it doesn't have that much attack. It doesn't have accuracy. It's like this is not an ideal build. Like, look at the attack percentage chest. It's not good, okay? This is not one I would normally use. We have 5-star gloves. You know what I mean? They have HP percent on them, which was helpful for Husk, but not him. So, like, this is not an ideal set. And so, we could be getting more damage out of him in another build, but then we would be losing the 30% ignore defense, the extra chance to repeat the skills. So it's like a balance that you have to figure out what's right for you. I think going forward and adding to this is going to be really powerful on our accounts, but early on it's going to be tough to get the pieces to make this work. So keep that in mind with your Forge Pass set. Let me bring up the other champions here so you can see their builds as well. Alright, this is my normal Mithrala build that I use in all content. You can tell that she is going to have some damage here, and she is going to have accuracy and resistance, speed, not as much defense as I would like, but this is the build that I use in all content with her. I tried to replicate this build on a takeover this week that was off camera, and I will say that was a little bit more challenging than I was expecting it to be. So even if you can't get this type of stats, like putting her in crit rate gloves is still helpful. Even if you can't do crit damage gloves, okay? Getting her speed up with accuracy is important. So if you can't do either of the damage parts, at least do speed and accuracy, right? So anyway, that's the build that I use for her. The Tatora build is easy. He's right here at the top since he's empowered. I kind of wish I didn't empower him because he's been great for the Cursed City. But we have a Relentless build. He does have some damaging stats, but as you can tell, like, he was not a good damage dealer. Does he have War Master? He even has War Master. So, like, I don't know why. I feel like he does good damage, but then his numbers are not. And that could just be because he skips this, right? He only has one AoE. So that's just part of it. Like, you don't need to build him for damage, but you can if you want to. Alright, keeping it relatable for you guys, I ran this without a ring on the Ugo, and that puts her at these stats here. If I were to have the ring on, just as a comparison for you, it was this one right here. So when I use her, like when I'm trying to like go all in, she has a bit more defensive stats. And then last but not least is Razelvarg. And I don't know what you need to do to get these stats on him, but just do it. Just do it. Put him in Savage, get him moving fast, make his attack stat high, and get some crit damage on him while keeping accuracy. I promise you, you will be happy with this investment. Go put some of your best gear on him. Go do it. He is just one of the best Hydra DPS in the game, and he brings other stuff to your team also. He has a speed in all battles aura, so you can frequently put him in the lead. I love him in Cruelty because he has 2 AoEs. He has the increased speed, increased accuracy, which is both amazing buffs. He has Leech, which is amazing debuff. And then he's got a triple hitter that just does really good damage and boosts his turn meter. So I don't know what you need to do, but the moral of the story is use Razzlevarg. Okay, so here's the team to wrap up the video here. It was a really strong, really good team that if you focused a little bit more on defensive stats instead of offensive stats, could probably do brutal. You know, this team could probably do brutal and one key it fairly easily. Obviously, I did way more than necessary for hard Hydra. But even with way less gear quality on your champions, you could replicate this team. If you start changing one champion, you kind of got to change a lot of champions in there, but these are all great champions for Hydra. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I hope this was helpful to you. Hit the like button, and I'd love to have you as part of the Jedi Academy, so consider becoming a subscriber and joining the Discord. You know, all the things. Either way, I am going to post this and then go live, so look for the go lives. After basketball season's over, which, you know, we're winding down now. We're winding down, a couple more weeks left, but after basketball season, you'll see me streaming a lot more. I hope to see you out, and until then, have a great day.